Hello and welcome to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at the Electrification Plan, also called GOELRO. We'll take a look at the historical context, the origins of the GOELRO, some key objectives and features, the implementation strategy, some challenges and obstacles, major projects and achievements, the economic and social impact, the influence on Soviet policy, legacy and long-term effects, the cultural and literary reflections, as well as some books and quotes. Now, let's start off with the historical context. Well, it's post-revolutionary Russia. In the aftermath of the October Revolution, the Bolsheviks faced the daunting task of rebuilding Russia's war-torn economy and infrastructure. Vladimir Lenin viewed electrification as a cornerstone for modernizing the Soviet economy, encapsulated in his famous dictum, "Communism is Soviet power plus the electrification of the whole country." The GOELRO plan aimed to transform the Soviet Union from a predominantly agrarian society into a modern industrial state, using electrification as a catalyst for economic and social development. The origins of the GOELRO. The plan was proposed by Lenin in 1920 as part of the broader New Economic Policy (MEP). It was intended to restore the economy while retaining socialist control over key sectors. The State Commission for Electrification of Russia (GOELRO) was established to develop and oversee the implementation of the electrification plan, bringing together leading engineers, scientists, and economists. The concept of electrifying Russia had roots in pre-revolutionary discussions among Russian engineers and industrialists, but it gained practical momentum under Bolshevik rule. Some key objectives and features. The plan called for the construction of regional power stations utilizing Russia's abundant natural resources such as coal, oil, and hydroelectric potential. Electrification was intended to boost industrial productivity, modernize agriculture, and improve living standards by providing reliable electricity to urban and rural areas. It also emphasized the adoption of modern electrical technologies and infrastructure to enhance efficiency and foster economic growth. The implementation strategy. The plan was divided into phases, starting with the establishment of key power stations and gradually expanding the grid to cover more regions. GOELRO was aligned with the new economic policy, allowing limited private enterprise while focusing state resources on large-scale infrastructure projects. Its emphasis was placed on training engineers and technicians, establishing technical schools and institutes to build a workforce capable of operating and maintaining the new electrical infrastructure. Some challenges and obstacles. The Soviet economy faced severe resource constraints in the early 1920s, making it difficult to secure the necessary funding and materials for the ambitious electrification project. Building and maintaining the new infrastructure posed significant technical challenges, particularly in remote and underdeveloped regions. Some traditional sectors and rural communities resisted the changes brought by electrification, fearing disruption to established ways of life. Major projects and achievements. One of the first major power stations constructed under GOELRO, located near Moscow, it utilized peat as a fuel source and became operational in 1923. Another early project, this plant harnessed the Volkhov River hydroelectric potential and began generating power in 1926, symbolizing the Soviet commitment to harnessing renewable energy. This power station was called Volkhov Hydroelectric Plant. The expansion of the grid. By the late 1920s, the electrical grid expanded significantly, connecting major industrial centers and beginning to reach rural areas, setting the stage for future industrialization. Economic and social impact. Electrification facilitated the growth of key industries, including metallurgy, chemical production, and machine building, laying the foundation for Soviet industrialization. It also enabled the use of electric machinery in agriculture, improving productivity and efficiency in farming practices. It also improved the living standards. Electrification improved living conditions by providing electricity for lighting, heating, and household appliances, contributing to urbanization and modernization. Influence on Soviet policy. The success of GOELRO provided a model for subsequent Soviet economic plans, including the 5-year plans that aimed to further industrialize and modernize the Soviet economy. It also reinforced the effectiveness of centralized economic planning and state control over key sectors, influencing the development of Soviet economic policy in the following decades. The electrification became a symbol of Soviet progress and technological achievement, often highlighted in propaganda to demonstrate the benefits of socialism. Legacy and long-term effects. The infrastructure and expertise developed under GOELRO laid the groundwork for the Soviet Union's rapid industrialization during the 1930s. The emphasis on technical education and innovation contributed to the growth of the Soviet scientific and engineering community. Electrification continued to expand through the Soviet era, eventually achieving near universal coverage and supporting the country's economic and technological development. Cultural and literary reflections. The GOELRO was celebrated in Soviet propaganda as a triumph of socialist planning and a key achievement of the Bolshevik regime. The electrification plan and its impact were depicted in Soviet literature and films, often highlighting themes of progress, modernization, and the transformative power of technology. GOELRO's legacy is reflected in historical narratives about Soviet industrialization and modernization, illustrating its significance in shaping 20th century Soviet history. Now, some books and quotes. First up, Soviet Planning in the 20s, The Theory and Practice of Electrification by Naum Jasny. He provides an in-depth analysis of the planning and implementation of GOELRO. Electrification of Soviet Russia, the GOELRO plan by Melvin P. Leffler. It examines the historical context, development, and impact of the GOELRO plan on Soviet economic policy. Soviet Economic Development from Lenin to Khrushchev by R. W. Davies. It discusses the broader economic context of Soviet development, including the role of electrification. Now, some quotes. Electrification of the whole country forms the cornerstone of our socialist construction. Vladimir Lenin. GOELRO was more than a technological initiative. It was a grand vision of transforming society through the power of electricity. Naum Jasny. The success of the GOELRO plan marked a decisive step towards modernizing the Soviet Union, providing the essential infrastructure for future industrialization. Melvin P. Leffler. Lenin's dream of electrification embodied the Bolshevik commitment to progress, symbolizing a break from the past and the promise of a brighter industrial future. Hirokai Kurumaya. The GOELRO plan was a monumental effort, reflecting the Soviet regime's ability to mobilize resources and expertise for large-scale projects despite significant challenges. That was all for today. Thank you for listening.